Howdy, my name is John Feeney, and today I'm going to be talking about the debate between ACA and CA that took place in 2018. And so on March 24th, Australia was playing South Africa in Cape Town and Test 3. And so an Australia player named Cameron Bancroft, actually it was revealed through television that he was tampering and cheating with the ball by using an object in his pocket and rubbing it against the ball. And so right after the game, there was a press conference, and Bancroft actually admits to tampering with the ball, and the Australia's captain, Steve Smith, actually admits to knowing about the tampering going into the match. And so the ICC comes in and actually gives a 75% match fee to Bancroft for tampering and 100% match fee to Steve Smith for fostering that unethical conduct. And so further investigation happens, and I believe that next day it is revealed that the vice captain of Australia, David Warner, actually was responsible for planning and actually taught Bancroft how to tamper the ball by using sandpaper. And that's what happened during that match. And so CAA, or Cricket Australia, actually comes up with a new punishment. And so all three players, Warner, Smith, and Bancroft, cannot play cricket internationally or domestically for the next 12 months. Bancroft and Smith cannot have leadership for the next year, and Warner cannot have leadership in the future. And so Coach Darren Lehman actually gets revealed that he had no responsibility in knowing about the tampering before the game or planning it, but due to his guilt in fostering that unethical conduct, he resigns. And so the reason why CA comes up with such a harsh punishment is because they believe that there was tons of pressure from the Australia's public and social media about this backlash with tampering, and even authority figures like the Prime Minister speaks out about it and becomes involved in the scandal. And so the problem occurs here because ACA, which is Australia's Cricket Association, which is a union with former Australian cricket players, thinks this punishment that CA proposed is too harsh. And Shane Warne, a former player, speaks out about it being too harsh. And Andrew Flintoff, which is a former English player, actually says that other players had to know, and other players from other teams also tampered with balls, but they don't get punishment. So where's the line? That was their reasoning behind that. So although the level of punishment had differing opinions between both parties, they both have mutual interest as well. They both want the game of cricket to be fair, and they love the game of cricket. They both believe that there should be a punishment, but the level of punishment differs between the two. They both believe that their level of punishment is the best fit, which leads to the my way barrier, believing my way or the highway for both parties, and that kind of gives a lack of compromise. And they both have pride in Australia and want to represent Australia in a good light. That way other countries can continue playing Australia and won't back out of matches. So with this, I think with my services, I believe that we can come up with a feasible solution to this conflict and overcome these barriers of the authority barrier, the communication barrier, and the my way barrier. First of all, there should be communication techniques that should be adopted with both parties. There should be leading questions, asking both parties separately why they think their penalty is fair or unfair, and having active listening from both parties to further get the other party talking and learn more about their reasoning. This kind of fosters more of a dialogue atmosphere compared to a debate atmosphere when they're blaming each other. And then this also builds rapport and trust, having both sides reflect on what the other party is saying. And there should be nonverbal communication cues as well, like eye contact and gestures. To come up with a solution, there should be a negotiation, and the form, I believe, it should be is integrative, where it's a mutually beneficial for both parties' interest, and it's a win-win situation. With this, they should both keep their emotions in check to allow that give and take compromise atmosphere, and both parties should have a best alternative in mind. That way they can come up with a great compromise. The three barriers that I mentioned, I believe there's solutions to get past them. With the my way barrier, I believe that instead of thinking it's my way or the highway, they can use reframing and see it as a total new perspective on the problem. That way they can come up with a feasible compromise. On the communication barrier, I believe both parties should take notes to really understand the other party's reasoning and form a caucus meeting. That way it forces communication between the two. And the authority barrier, I believe that learning the other side's cultural language or slang or culture will allow them to really understand where they're coming from and not question their authority. There needs to be a compromise with the personalities as well. The CA is very type A with the fear of advantage and taking advantage in the game. And so that kind of differs from the ACA, which is type C personality. And they have a fear of mistake because they believe there was a mistake with CA's level of punishment. And so although there is differing personality types, I believe that through collaboration and fostering that collaboration between the two, using communication techniques, we can get past these barriers and differing personalities to come up with a feasible solution. I believe that's possible, and hopefully through my skills, it'll be able to come up with a feasible solution and peace between the two associations. Thank you so much.